So I am out in the forest, and I do want to still give our reminders. We still need to maintain social distance. So remember, keep 3 possums away from anyone that doesn't live in the house with you. Okay? Now I am out here today with my little dog. Where is she going? Come here. Amber, come. There you go. So we're out in the woods looking for some things to talk about, and I'm going to change the camera around so you can see what I'm looking at. We're going to take a look at what's out here. Now, on Tuesday, I think it was, I did say that we would be doing the monk parakeets today. I didn't calculate in that today was a holiday. So we will be doing the monk parakeets on Tuesday. You'll get to visit with the monk parakeets in the aviary with them. We'll see if we can get them to sit on my finger and things like that. And we'll learn all about monk parakeets on Tuesday. So until then, we're going to be doing this, and also we'll be doing one this afternoon as well at 2 o'clock. And I want to remind everybody that we're going to do a virtual Easter egg hunt for Easter. So you'll see a picture of the forest, and you can pan around and see if you can find all of the eggs that are hidden in the forest. So let's turn the camera around because I have found a gorgeous spot. We're sitting here on the river. All right, you can see how beautiful it is. This is just a brook. I shouldn't call it a river. A brook here. All right. The dog likes looking at the brook as well. Say hi, Amber. Amber, sit. She's going to sit. You're going to sit. All right, there's my doggie. This is Amber. Say hi to everybody, Amber. Okay. She's doing that because I have a treat. All right, so if we look around here, there's some really spectacular things. There's a little speckled plant down here. That's a trout lily. Those are beautiful yellow flowers. Over here, we've got one of my favorite trees. This is a river birch. I could do a whole program on those, but today we're really going to be talking about, oh, here's bayberry. This is an invasive species. So we all know how much I don't really like invasive species. We're going to be talking about skunk cabbage. You can see this right here is some skunk cabbage. All right. Amber smells the skunk cabbage too. And we're going to go up here because earlier we found, here's one here. This is young skunk cabbage. That purple that you see there, that maroon color, that's called the spathe. That is its flower. This is a flowering plant. Now these start flowering in February. And the way that they are able to start to grow in February is they have the ability to produce their own heat. They can get up to 70 degrees. Absolutely amazing. They can thaw the ground around them, thaw through any snow or ice that's above them, and start growing in February. You don't find many of the flowers at this time of year. Most of them are gone by. And they'll continue to grow into May and June, and then they start to, by then they're really large leaves. They are called skunk cabbage because they release a pretty pungent odor. They're pretty strong, and the flower there, that's what they need animals to pollinate. The pungent odor attracts flies and carrion beetles and things that eat rotting meat. So they smell like rotting meat. They do smell to me more like a skunk than rotting meat, but that's what attracts the flies and allows them to be pollinated. So if you are familiar with honeybees pollinating flowers, these are pollinated by flies and beetles. The same way that a beautiful flower that you have in your garden might have lots of bees on it, this is going to have flies. It's just a different way of getting pollinated. So they're really, really cool. Now, at one point in the 1800s, they used to make a medicine out of this. And it was sort of not really a good medicine. It was considered like a snake oil. People would say, oh, it cures everything. And it didn't really. But the Native Americans did use this as a medicinal plant. They would dry out the leaves, young leaves, so probably like this. You would harvest it, and then you would use it for coughs and headaches. You would put the dried out leaves into water and rehydrate them, and then you could eat them. They would also put them in soups and stews, and it is said that they are very, very tasty. I've never eaten this one myself. I've eaten a lot of the plants that the Native Americans have eaten. This is not one of the ones that I've eaten, though. So I'm going to have to try this sometime. Maybe I'll collect some leaves today and dry them out and then soak them in water and see what they taste like. Somebody's asking, why is it called the skunk plant? It's called skunk plant, skunk cabbage, because of the smell. It does release a smell kind of like a skunk. Now, I don't really see any very large ones, but if we pan up the riverbank here, you can see there are lots and lots of them. They're popping up all over the place. And as they get larger, the leaves will get 1.5 or 2 feet tall, some of the really large plants. So if you come back here later, we'll see some much larger plants. Okay, I'm going to ask everybody if you want to put up where you're from as you ask questions. Keep the questions coming. I'll try and answer them as we go. Someone is asking where we are. I am out on the Welter Property. It's part of the Killingworth Land Trust. So there are a few trailheads to get into this property. If you're familiar with Killingworth at all, the Killingworth Land Trust does a great job. They have trails everywhere, beautifully maintained trails. They're actually looking for trail maintainers. So if anybody's interested in helping out maintain a trail, you should reach out to the Killingworth Land Trust. They have some beautiful trails. When was it first discovered is a question that I'm seeing. So the Native Americans used it as far back as we have records of the Native Americans. So this would have been a very early plant. Now this plant's range is all over Canada, the eastern part of Canada, the northeastern United States, from Minnesota or Montana all the way over, and then down south to the Carolinas. In Tennessee, it is endangered, so there are places where it's a little bit more rare, but that's really at the edge of its range down in Tennessee. Okay. Any evidence of it actually working to treat coughs? My understanding is that it did work for coughs, and it didn't say whether or not it really worked for headaches. So I'm not sure about the headache part, but they did say that it does work on coughs. The Native Americans had many, many cures for, they used plants all over, from all over as a cure. Now, originally, if anyone has ever broken the leaves, that's what releases the smell. When the leaves are damaged, it smells really strong. And if you ever smelled it, you would think, why would anyone even consider eating something like this? But like I said, when the leaves are dried out and then reconstituted, re-soaked in water, that's when they taste pretty scrumptious, is the description. So we're going to have to check that out. Okay. If you have any more questions, please keep them coming. I am going to continue to do these programs. We'll do one this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Maybe we'll stay on this trail. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. Who knows? But we'll find something else to talk about. Again, we're going to be doing our virtual Easter egg hunt this Sunday. You'll get to see it up on our website. Someone's asking any jack-in-the-pulpits. We're a little early for jack-in-the-pulpits. That's an excellent one to talk about, though. And as soon as I find a jack-in-the-pulpit, I will definitely do a program on them, because that's a fascinating plant. I don't want to give too much away, but that's a good plant as well. All right, we need to remind everyone, continue to keep your social distance. Keep those 3 possums away from everyone that you don't live in a house with. Even if you're at a state park or out on a trail like I am today, you still need to maintain social distance. cough into your elbow, cover your mouth. They're saying, you know, now you should be wearing a mask as much as possible when you're out in public. Wash your hands really well. Don't touch your face. These are things that are going to help us get through this. I know many of you are starting to really get stir crazy. You're spending a lot of time away from your friends. You know, FaceTime them, call them, talk to them, but really you need to maintain that social distance, even with your friends' pets. So if you're out hiking a trail and someone's walking with their dog, you shouldn't really come in contact with their dog because their dog has been pet. Like I pet Amber, so she's not going to want to go and get pet by somebody else. All right. So I hope that you're all, you keep on in contact with one another. Someone asking a question, are they related to Jack in the Pulpits? I don't believe there's any relation with Jack in the Pulpits. So they're a very different plant. So we should remember spathe. That's a good word, and I'll put that on our vocab list. That's part of the flowering plant of this skunk cabbage. All right. I hope everybody is enjoying these presentations. You can continue to comment on them if you see them on Facebook afterwards. We'll read through the comments and try and answer as many of your questions as we can. So again, tune in at 2 o'clock. We'll see what we can find out in the woods.